Hello, everybody. This is Justin Case of American Newscape, rejoining our friend, coach, mentor, and transformational guide, Jeff Griffin of Griffin Motivation, back for another installment of American Awesome. Hello, Jeff. Welcome back to American Newscape.
Justin Case, thank you so much for having me back. I love these moments.
Well, we enjoy our time with you, Jeff, and so does our audience. Hey, I understand you're back from another subsequent trip to New York City. I hope that went well for you because it's New York. I have trouble believing that there's anything good back there, but at least when I know that you're back there, something's worthwhile.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know, my first time there in New York this year, I came off they turned one of their L trains or their elevated trains into a walkway, and I went on the walk, more of a roll for me. But my walk and roll went really, really well. I got to the end of the line. I came down, and there's this lady, I guess she's from New York, and she just hangs out there waiting for people to come down the trail and say hello. And so I happened to be that person and had an opportunity to chat with her, to talk with her. And anyways, in our discussion, she started to cry. And so I made this lady cry, not in a bad way, but I made her cry, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, there is hope in this world." And 3 weeks later, I got to go back to New York. This time, it was in the western side of New York, and a lot of people think that New York City is the state of New York, but the western side is so beautiful. There's a place called the Chautauqua institution that's out there. They host cool things in the summertime. They bring in great speakers, great musicians and whatnot. One of these days, I'm going to speak at the Chautauqua Institution there. But this year I didn't get to, but I did get to jump in their body of water. And I got to swim back there, and it was such a beautiful location with the trees, with everything else. And so it reminded me of the small town home that my dad grew up in, and not so small as my town was, small as well, but a little bit bigger than my dad's. But that type of community where the people are flying their flags, they're inviting people over, they're having barbecues and hot dog roasts and whatnot, and they're talking to people. I'm like, that is where it's at. And so had a great time back there in New York. And I am back home, just ready to experience life back here at the homestead.
Well, it sounds like you got a chance to get a big dose of Americana in New York.
I did. It was nice. It really was.
Well, that's cool, Jeff. So, what have you got for us today? You always bring something inspiring. You always give us something that gives us an opportunity to transform ourselves into a better us. So what have you got?
So what I want to share today is, do you have faith that it's all about faith? And I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about church. I'm talking about that power. I'm talking about that authority. I'm talking about that dominion. I'm talking about that element that helps us achieve and receive that which the masses call it, says is impossible. And so, to me, faith is the ability to see the invisible and hope for the incredible. And as Paul mentioned in the Bible, he says, listen, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so it's like, okay, well, I'm hoping for something. I believe it's going to happen. In the Hebrew word, it's emunah, and there's not even a translation in English, but the Hebrew word emunah is like, I know it's going to happen. I can't see it's going to happen, but I just know it's going to happen. It's beyond believing it's going to happen or hoping it's going to happen. And so again, do you have faith that it's all about faith? And so what I like to say is no focus, no faith, as in N-O focus, N-O, faith. But if you flip that around and you reframe it and you shift some things, if you K-N-O-W, if you know focus, you will know faith. And if you know faith, it's going to change your world. You're going to be able to do things and achieve things and accomplish things that you never seen done or heard before. And that's what I love to do. That's what I did back there in New York, was to help people have faith that it's all about faith, meaning to help them focus and help them move forward and help them accomplish and achieve their dreams and desires. And so I just love that little play on words. No focus, no faith. No focus, no faith. And if you have faith, you're going to be so prepared for the future. And I believe the future, we can place our thoughts in one of two ways, and that is we can have faithful thoughts or we can have doubtful thoughts. And so the future is unknown, and so we can either place faith in the future or we can place doubt into the future. And I choose to use faith to move forward and fuel my dreams and desires. And so again, I believe faith is the solution in finding the problem. And every minute you doubt it's possible, you give up 60 seconds in finding the solution.
Wow. A couple thoughts strike me, Jeff, is two phrases that I'll use. People believe they need to see something. And two moronic phrases are seeing is believing, and it is what it is. And the counter to seeing is believing, if you're walking through the savannah in Africa and you hear the roar of a lion behind you, do you need to turn around to see it to recognize that you're in trouble? Or if you're at the top of the Grand Canyon and you're near the edge, do you need to see gravity to know that if you take another step, you'll plummet to your death? So we're not always owed the opportunity to see something that we may need to believe in. And that's where I think faith is important for us to navigate these things.
Amen, 100%. And I love the term that you used, moronic.
Yeah,
that's my term of the day today. And that's moronic. Seeing is believing. For me, believing is seeing. And because, everything that we have, this computer, this technology, our car, our computer, everything that we have, right? These forms, this stuff that's formed came from a thought, formless. And everything that we're going to get will come from a thought. And so are we going to only act after we see? And I'm like, we'd still be in the dark ages if that was the case. And I loved your other thought, your other statement as well is, a moronic thought of, it is what it is. And I don't know how many times I hear that. It is what it is. And there's one time that I called them divine downloads, the light bulb experiences, thoughts that come to your mind that, didn't come from your mind. It came somewhere else because you're not smart enough to come up with that. And I'm rolling in the cafeteria of a Tokyo cafeteria with my teammates, and one of my teammates made that comment. They're like, Utah, they were a team from Dallas, and so I got to join them for a summer tournament for World Games. And my teammates like, Utah, it is what it is. And I was about to roll on by and say, yeah, okay, whatever. I'll let you think that. But all of a sudden, boom, it hit me. The divine download hit me, and I'm like, I turned to him and I'm like, you know what? You're right. It is what it is, but it doesn't have to be. And so if we want to change things, we're going to have to take those steps into the darkness long before we have ever seen the end. We've got to take those steps with faith and courage into the darkness long before we ever see the edge. Once we get to the edge, the edge of what we understand, the edge of comfort, and we want to improve, we want to expand, we want to progress, we're going to have to take that step off the edge, off that ragged edge of familiarity. And that's going to require some faith and courage. And so, do you have faith? That's all about faith. And are you going to use that faith to accomplish the impossible, to accomplish and achieve and receive the incredible?
Well, yeah, to act. For everybody out there, if we can encourage you to act for your own best interests, we've done something wonderful here today. Jeff, why don't you leave us with some tools that we can take going forward to help us find that faith?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The first one is, again, I believe that there's 3Ds at the foundation of your success, the foundation of your dream, or the foundation of where you want to see, do, and become. And it is desire, dream, and do. And so going back to the very, very first step, change your desires, flip the switch, reframe things. If you think that you're not an optimistic person, desire to be optimistic. If you don't think that you're a very successful person, desire to have some success. If you don't think that you're a faithful person and a very doubtful person, and then you act in fear more than you do in courage, desire the ability to act in courage and to have that faith to take those steps. And so again, it goes back to your desire. How can I increase my desire? How can it be true? How can it be burning? And how can it be desperate? And can I even develop a desire? And the answer is absolutely. And that comes from the possibility principle, which is at the footings of your foundation. The possibility principle is going to help you change that mindset. It's going to give you that faithful mindset. That's going to give you the I call it the P squared mindset, based on the possibility principle. And so basically the main thing with the possibility principle to help increase your desire is to do the daily dime, and to do the daily dime all the time. And that's 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night. It's just, I'm going to focus 10 minutes a day to developing faith, developing courage, developing whatever it is, right? But I'm going to spend 10 minutes a day demanding of myself the development of self-confidence, the development of confidence to help me believe, to help me hope, to help me increase my desire. And if you are way over here on the spectrum, you're like, yeah, I don't have any of that stuff, I don't think it's possible for me. Just start with the desire to have it, to do it. And then I would encourage you and invite you to take those steps to actually practice the principle. Do the daily dime, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. I'm going to focus on this possibility principle. I'm going to focus on that which I can do instead of what I can't do. And I'm going to focus on what it is that I want. And so we're going to have to develop that dream. And so the daily dime will come after you do the very, very first step, which is identifying your dream. You've got to identify your dream. That's the first step to success. Success is a 3-part series. You got to know what you want. You've got to celebrate the process, and you've got to finish what you start. And of course, the second and the third one was mixed up, but it doesn't matter, because you got to celebrate. Once you discover what your dream is, celebrate. Once you finish, what you started, celebrate, and just continue to celebrate. Build on those wins. And so develop that desire that is true, that is burning, that matches up with your dreams. And then, of course, get out there and do, even at a snail's pace. Take it inch by inch. Don't try to consume the whole thing in one try, because inch by inch is a cinch, yard by yard is hard. And so simply begin with that desire of wanting to increase your faith, wanting to expand your faith. And one way to do that is to focus. And the daily dime will help you focus.
Wow. Hey, Jeff, that was actually pretty inspirational. It's almost as if you're a motivational speaker. It's almost as if you're trying to transform me into being a confident person. So for that, I thank you. And everybody, this has been Just In Case and Jeff Griffin bringing you American Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Remember, additional information on links provided in this video is read more. Today's the day to subscribe to this channel. Please learn more about Jeff Griffin and keep company with us all at the Cool Kids table.